Hi, my name is Kynan Jones. I want to talk to you about a couple of tools from SAP that have been developed to assist our customers with determining what Fiori applications are available to them, how are they relevant to them, and what steps do they need to undertake to be able to get those Fiori applications into their systems and up and running in the most efficient means possible. Now, there are approximately 900 applications available now within the catalogue. Not all of those will be relevant to every customer. Now, there's a number of reasons behind that, namely the database, for example, and which back-end applications they're running. So SAP ERP versus CRM, banking, etc. So all of these things factor into which applications can be used. Now, the first tool we have is what we call the Fiori Fit Analysis report. Now, this is a great way of initiating the roadmap discussion towards Fiori. So what we get is a list of applications relevant to our customer based on the transactions that they are using. So it's tailored to each customer and it's a great high-level presentation of the required applications. Now we do that by getting a list of transactions that are used within the system, and from there we match those up to all the available applications and we narrow that list down and present that back to our customer. And then from there they can take those applications and look at the Fiori App library, which we'll look at again in just a moment, and then see what is required from a technical point of view to get those apps running. We do that through what we call the Workload Monitor. So it's a transaction within SAP where the customer will download a spreadsheet or a CSV, which will give us the names of transactions used over a certain period of time, so last month or week, for example. They'll also download the system profile, so what applications are running, what support packs, which levels, etc., and send that to SAP. And then from there, we can build up a list of applications relevant and get that back to the customer, usually around a week's time. Now, from there, we can walk them through those applications if required and match those up to the technical requirements to get them moving forward. So you can see here a couple of screenshots showing the process. So we have here the Workload Monitor. We have the system profile, so which components, their releases and support pack levels. We can download those, send them off to us at SAP, and from there we can build up a great list of applications and get those back to the customers. So let's have a look now at a couple of example reports that are available. Now, of course, there are some things that determine what apps are available to each customer, and one of those things is the database. So for example, if the customer is using SAP HANA, they have a certain amount of applications available to them. If they're not using HANA, they have a different number of applications relevant to them. So here are two example reports, the same customer, but using a different database. So if we look now at the AnyDB version, so this is the non-SAP HANA version, and look at the report, we get some overview information. Now we see a list of applications by line of business, so categorized by each line of business available, and you can see the number of applications available within each line of business. From here we can drill down. So for example, sales and marketing, we can see under that the roles that are available under that line of business. So in this case, the field sales rep, and the number of applications relevant to that role. Again, we drill down and we can see the name of each application and why that's relevant. So in this case, the check price and availability application is relevant because the customer has been using transaction VA03, which is display sales order. The create sales order application is available, relevant because the customer has been using transaction VA01. So this is a tailored report sent back to our customer, and from here they can launch to the Fiori App library, which I'll show you in just a moment. Now if we look at the same customer again, but this time using SAP HANA as the database, we can see the number of applications is different from the first report, and we can drill down into the applications available. So in this case, we look at the finance applications, and under that role, we can see the number of apps available and why they are deemed to be relevant. So if we scroll through, you can see here, manage payment blocks, for example, is relevant because the customer has been using transaction FK02. And again, they can launch from here directly to the Fiori App library. So that's the Fiori Fit Analysis report. It's a great way to start the discussion. It's a great roadmap tool to look at exactly what applications are available and relevant to your organizations based on what you're already using in your system. So the next tool we'll look at is the Fiori App Reference Library. So this is a great one-stop shop for all the SAP Fiori apps. From here we can see all the different applications broken down by all different sorts of categories. So line of business, by role, by back-end component, which apps can be deployed to the Fiori to SAP HANA Cloud Platform, for example. So if we switch over now to the Fiori App Reference Library, you can see the categories listed on the side, and we can see all of our applications broken down by, for example, line of business, by role, application component, or for example, back-end product. Now we can see all those available. We can see, for example, SAP ERP, and now by drilling into that, we can see all the individual applications. So if we scroll down, for example, we can look at sales orders. Once we select that, we can see the information about that application, what it is. We can launch straight to the SAP help, so it gives us a guide on what the configuration steps are required. We can see a screenshot, but the real important information is the implementation components here. And you can see all the different versions of that application that have been released. And we can open up the installation steps. So this is exactly what needs to be installed on both the front end and back end in order for our customer to have that application up and running. We can then look at our configuration components. So what's the name of the UI5 application, the technical details about that application, the API that's powering that, and any implementations for the searching, for example. We also have extensibility, so if we wanted to customize or extend that application, how will we do that? And any relevant support information. So if there's any support notes that are relevant to that application, they'd also be listed here. So this is a great way to see all the individual applications, to have them broken down in different categories. We can filter those again by database, for example. We can see all the technical information about those applications, everything we need to know about each individual application to install that in our system. So that's the SAP Fiori App Reference Library. So once we have the apps broken down from our original list of applications down to our relevant applications based on our usage, which we have from our downloaded reports, we now have the technical components of those apps. The next tool available to us is what we call the SAP Fiori Relevance and Readiness Analysis. Now this is in effect the same information that we use from the Fiori Fit Analysis, but in a bit more of a technical perspective, whereby the Fiori Fit Analysis is a high-level pack that we present to our customers. The Relevance and Readiness Analysis is a list where the customer can actually perform this by themselves. They can upload the files by themselves, they get the results straight back, they don't have to wait, and there they can launch directly to the technical details. So this is launched from our Fiori App library. So it's a wizard that we run to get us the details. So we can create a new analysis process. Now, the details of the transactions we use, we've downloaded to a spreadsheet, and we can upload it here. In this case, we'll use the sample. Now we need to upload the system profiles, so what support packs have been installed, what levels they're running on, etc., for both front end and backend. And if HANA was involved, for example, we'd upload those details there as well. Now we give it a name. And we start that process. Okay, so now you can see we have a list of applications broken down by category and a relevance indicator as well. And if you hover over that, you can see why that's seen to be relevant. We can hover over here, we can see what installation components have been installed and how relevant that is and why. We can see screenshot information as well. From here we can download that list for processing. So again, great way to start the roadmap discussion, but probably a bit more of a technical perspective than the initial Fiori Fit Analysis process. So what we can do now is select a couple of applications and look at the detailed view. So this is showing us back in the Fiori App library of those selected applications. And if we select the aggregate, what we're doing is bringing together all of those applications and showing a joint list of requirements to get those applications up and running. So we have all the different applications, which products need to be installed. So we look at our aggregated installation requirements. You can see what we need to have in place from a front end and back end perspective. And then we can take it to the next step, which is our maintenance planner, which I'll show you in just a moment. So that's a great way to take the initial 900 applications that are available, break that down by what's relevant by usage. The customer can then select which applications they want to investigate further, then aggregate the results and look at the installation requirements for all those applications. So they now have a very precise list of relevant Fiori applications to proceed with. So this takes us to the SAP Maintenance Planner, which is an online tool from SAP, hooked into our customer's Solution Manager instances, giving us accurate details of what their systems are running, what levels they are on, database, etc. So we know everything about their system, and we can marry that up to the requirements from the Fiori App reference library. So here we can see the Fiori reference library again. Now we can drill in by back-end product. We can select a couple of applications that we want to investigate further. Now we can aggregate those results and see the installation requirements as a collective. Once we have that, we can prepare those apps for the maintenance planner and we can start to plan those installation steps. And we can see now for our back end and our front end what components are required. We can select the systems relevant. In this case, we already have the system details because Solution Manager is installed and configured. We want to install a new front end because we don't have one already. So we're allowed to do that. We can just put in new and what level we want to install that at. Now we have the impacts on those systems detailed out in front of us. We can drill down and see the new components that will be installed. We can select our operating system specific details for both front-end and back-end systems. And we now get a full list of all the installation files required. We can download that as a PDF for our records. And we can push that directly to our download basket. So this is now putting the queue ready for the installation process to begin. We can download the stack XML file, which is required for the installation and upgrade. And now our process is complete. So that's the SAP Maintenance Planner. So we've gone from having a full almost 900 available applications, reduced down to a list of applications that are relevant based on our system usage. From that list, our user has selected which applications that they deem are relevant to them, which ones they want to look at further. We've aggregated the installation requirements, moved across to Maintenance Planner, and from there we now have all the installation files required to take our system from where it's at right now to where it needs to be in order for SAP Fiori applications to be running. That's all downloaded in the queue. We have the stack XML file and we're ready to go. So to summarize, we have a number of applications available, almost 900. Using tools such as the SAP Fiori Fit Analysis and the Relevance and Readiness analysis, we can reduce that total list down to those that are relevant based on our system usage. So what transactions we're using. We can then take that list over to our reference library and we can see the technical details required for each application. We can aggregate that information and pass that to our SAP Maintenance Planner. Now we have all the installation files. We know exactly what needs to be done. We have the documentation downloaded and ready to go. And we are well on our way to installing our SAP Fiori applications. Well, that's it from me. My name's Kynan Jones. I hope this session was helpful. Looking at the tools available to help our customers to implement SAP Fiori applications in their system. Any information you require, please reach out. More than happy to help. Thanks.